Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beeman of BLS here, and today we're going to be looking at a new Trainz DLC for Trainz Railroad Simulator 2022, and this is in the form of the Class 43 high-speed train, or as most known it, the Intercity 125, back in the day, obviously. Yeah, so this is the HST add-on for Trainz. As far as I know, this only works with Trainz Railroad Simulator 2022. I haven't tried it in Trainz 2019 just yet. I will try it later on, but at the moment I do not know if it works with it. It probably doesn't because it's a new bit of DLC, so it's probably Trainz 22 content only, because a lot of new stuff for Trainz these days are not compatible for previous versions of the game. So here we are on the King's Cross to Edinburgh route, which is a very old route for Trainz now. Actually, it's been out for a number of years. It came out in 2010, I believe, for Trainz 2010, and it's obviously been updated over the years. But we're not here for the route, we're here for the locomotives slash units. So first of all, we're going to start off by looking at this iconic livery for the HST, which is the Intercity 125 livery, which is probably the most well-known livery on these engines, for obvious reasons. 1980s, you know, this was the first livery they were outshopped in, and I've got to say it does look absolutely spectacular. So before we move on to how it performs and the sounds, we're going to take a look around the locomotives and the coach in stock that comes with the add-on, and just take a look at some of the details and, well, the visuals of the model. So this is the Intercity 125 HST with the original light clusters here, which are represented very nicely. As you can see, the texturing is absolutely fantastic, as this is obviously one of the newer models, so it has the sort of scratches on the windows, the marks and stuff like that, and the shine is beautiful on these things as well. This is just, yeah, I do think that these newer models for Trainz really do hold up and look absolutely fantastic. They are very close to modern day standards. They are pretty much up there with the modern day Train Sim World content and Train Simulator Classic content. And it's just great to see some new models and new UK content being produced for Trainz. And yeah, it's brilliant to see, to be honest. I love the overall look of this HST. The texturing is very nice indeed. It's high definition visuals. You can see that throughout. You can see the sort of indentations on the side of the body there. So it has that sort of ripple effect, which is just stunning. And we have a crisply applied Intercity 125 logo there with the BR emblem, which is just so clear. You can read it, and it does look pretty good, doesn't it? Although it does have a few little lines here, but I think that's to do with the game itself. Yeah, because if you zoom in, it doesn't have that. So that's just obviously the rendering of the game doing that. But as I say, you know, you can read that. It looks spot on. It's not blurry or anything like that. Same with the number 43046. That lettering there is done with perfection. It is crisp on there, and you can read it, and it's very nice to see indeed. We also have the overhead warning stickers, which again are very nicely done. Obviously, if I go too far in, it starts to blur out, because obviously this game does have this strange sort of blur effect. So if you get too close to an object, it gives you that blur. It's sort of a kind of like a motion blur sort of thing, because obviously in real life, if you look at something too close to your eyes, it does actually blur. So they've tried to create this in the game, hence why you get that blur if you look at an object too closely. We also have door handles and handrails, which are very well picked out. I'm also loving the hint of weathering around the seals here on the door handles, and it just sort of picks out the detail and it gives that nice sort of 3D effect that we like. And as you can see around here, especially around sort of the yellow area, we can see like bits of dirt and grime all the way along there, which is absolutely fabulous to see. We also have an emergency handle there, which obviously it says here down here in case of fire, and I believe that is also readable, whatever that says under there, although you can't really read it by zooming in like that because obviously it has the blur effect, but I'm sure if you turn the blur effect off you could probably read that pretty well. In future I may actually turn that blur effect off so we can actually get a closer look at some of these engines, and so you can actually see it, to actually read it. I think you can read that. It looks as though you can, and it looks very crisply applied to the side of the model. The overall look of the model does look pretty spectacular, although I can't help noticing that maybe the front here slightly is a bit too fat on the side. I'm not 100% certain if that is, I might just be being picky, but it does look slightly fat around here. And just a little bit out of proportion, but I'm not sure on that. But nonetheless, it really does look spectacular. It really is a lovely looking model. We can see the horn grille there, which looks lovely as well. You can see that it's etched and it's see-through, so you can sort of see the horns there as you look through, which is brilliant to see. I'm glad that they've added that effect. We've got tons of rivets around here as well, bolts and screws, where the opening up comes, because obviously this paneling here opens up and it reveals a coupling, so you can obviously couple a locomotive to it if should the unit fail and need to be dragged by a locomotive. The coupling is found in these panels, and you can see that they're very nicely picked out there and represented well. Moving over to the other side, you see we've got that lovely shine effect again, which is brilliant. We're going to take a look at the bogies now. So as we can see here, very nicely done. We have the springs all present. All the suspension there is all present and correct. We have the cab steps heading up to the cab door, although there is a very big gap underneath here. I'm not sure if that is supposed to be there, but yeah, that's half a big gap, isn't it? Maybe this body should be a little bit lower on these bogies to what it is. But as I say, see, I think this needs lowering, because as you can see here, they've done half a massive gap between the steps and the cab door, and I don't think it's like that in real life, to be honest. But yeah, more details can include the fuel dial there and the fuel cap itself. We have some more stickers around here telling you little bits and pieces, and they are readable as we can see here, although obviously as again I can't really zoom right up to it because otherwise it does that blur effect. But we've got loads of other additional things, such as this twiddly whirly thing here. I don't know what this is for, but I'm assuming it's all part of the engine of sort. And yeah, it's all there and present. We also have a few little bits of extra piping, the cabinets to the battery isolation switches and other bits and pieces. We have the grills here, which are very nicely done, and we can see sort of it gives that effect of there is something in there. Look, you can see how there is a slight, there's another piece of metal going down there. It's almost see-through, and that's just lovely. That's brilliant that they've done that. We have the numbers on the side again, 43046, as per the prototype. I think as well the livery has been applied very nicely. I can't really see any sort of faults with the livery application, and yeah, it's very nicely done, isn't it, really? We have cables and jumpers all present and correct as per the real life prototype, and we have the decliner couplings together there, or Delnar couplings. Sorry, not decliner couplings. I need to get out of that habit of calling them decliners. They are Delnar couplings. And that is also what is in the front of the HST as well, a Delnar. But yeah, so they're all present and looking pretty smart there. We also have the connecting corridors, although this is... there could have been a little bit more detail done with these connecting corridors. It does look a bit bland, but it's there and it doesn't bother me too much. It does look pretty smart, so as long as it's there, that's all good to see. The coach in stock, the Intercity 125 logo there is done pretty well, although the spacing of the lettering does look a little bit too close. These probably should have been like, yeah, I'm not sure if the spacing is 100% there, but nevertheless, it still looks nice, and it obviously gives it the look that everybody wants. You know, it looks like the Intercity 125 livery, and that's what matters. Spacing could have been done better on that words, but hey ho, nothing is ever perfect. Let's put it that way. Nothing can ever be perfect. But you can try and get it perfect. That's what we try to do with some of our stuff. We try to get it as perfect as we possibly can within the game's limitations. And that's what most people need to think if they are developing stuff for Train Simulator, Trainz or Train Sim World. We can see that we have the guard lettering on there, which is again is very nicely done and nicely placed on the side of the body of the coach. We have the suspension of the coach, including the springs and bearing caps as well, which also have riveting around there, and I must say it does look very nice indeed. We have some grills alongside the coach in stock as well. And these are designated Mark III coaches. And yeah, they do look pretty damn smart, don't they? We're going to move over to the roof, because obviously I actually didn't look at the roofing of the HST. And oh, look at that. Doesn't that just look fantastic, that texture in there? Look at the grime and dirt and sort of oily substances you have on the top there, which does look pretty damn nice, I've got to say. And we've got all of that, this extra riveting here, which just looks absolutely stunning. So well done, Oron, or whoever. Actually, I don't actually know who made this model, but whoever has made this model, the developer, you've done such a fabulous job on this. And I'll give you credit, and thank you for bringing some new UK content into the game. We've got the grills on the top of the roof as well, very nicely represented. As you can see, again, they're sort of 3D and picked out incredibly nicely. And the frame rates are pretty good on this model as well. It's not too high poly, which is very nice to see. Which is very good. We have the luggage compartment in the back of the locomotive itself. And it's kind of well modelled. We have the phone there. Obviously, there's no luggage in here, but I mean, do you really need to go into that detail model luggage in here? Not really. You're not really going to look in there unless you go like right in it, you know. Yeah. So Mark III's, they're all pretty much the same. The roof has that sort of iconic sort of lineage here. So these sort of 3D lines here, they're all very nicely represented, as well as sort of the hatches on top there as well. As I say, this texturing as well, it's just absolutely stunning. I love these new models for trains. They just look very nice. It's definitely an upgrade to some of the older stuff. There we go. We've got a door open now, look. Passengers can get aboard. So the interior from the exterior view doesn't look that bad either. It's not that badly modelled. Pretty good. Got the buffet car in here. I mean, look at this detail. This is brilliantness. Look at that. And actually, this comes onto something, actually, because I did actually have a look at that a minute ago. We'll get to that in a minute. Some orange seats in here, first class. Okay, so now that we've had a look at... Oh, okay, yeah. So this is an interesting one. I like this. This has a nameplate on it. Oh yes, this one's called Heaton. So some of them, depending on what ones get spawned or what numbers they are, some of them come with 3D nameplates, as seen with Heaton here. I like that. That's cool. I like it. Who doesn't love a good nameplate? Okay, so let's get on to the passenger views. Okay, so if we go in here, it's the first class compartment. You can see we have the orange seating here on the moquette and the sort of headrests. Very nicely done. We have sort of the lights aren't on at the minute, but I'm guessing because it's daytime you wouldn't have lights on anyway. I don't know if you can turn them on or off. We'll have a look at some point. But you can scroll through the different views in the carriage. Another nice thing I really like about this is you have sort of grime on the windows, so the windows are not completely clean. Gives it that sort of more sort of realistic look as well, which is again another great feature about this pack. So I'm just going to unpause the game quickly actually to see if we can turn any lights on in here. Okay, no, so you can't really do anything in here in the means of pressing buttons. So we're going to go into the buffet car now. Now this is, see again, different moquette on here. So in different passenger views we have different moquettes, which is very nicely done as well. I like how there's a difference in all the different, sort of classes. So this one I believe is second class or third class. I'm not too sure. Either way, different seats, and that's again a very nice touch. So we're going to scroll through all the different passenger views here. So we'll go look, yeah. Now, this is one thing that really does annoy me. Okay, so obviously in a buffet car we want to go to the bar, don't we? We want to go to get some food or some snacks or drink. Okay, so what we're going to do is obviously I've got free cam on here so I can walk around any part of the cab or interior of a train. So we're going to walk over to get our snacks or drink or what have you. And unfortunately, it's not modelled in the interior view, which I think is a tremendous shame. However, if you go on to the exterior view and go inside, you can see that that is modelled actually pretty well. It would have been nice if they actually included a view where you can actually go up to the bar here, And I think that's a shame. That really is. But yeah, that's by the by, really. So let's have a look at the interior of the engine. So this is the cab, which I've got to say is fantastic. It's almost to AP quality. It really is. I mean, just look at this. This weathering around here. It is close to being sort of, Armstrong Powerhouse quality. Armstrong Powerhouse enhancement or Loco Pack quality. It really does look spectacular in here. We've even got all of the little bolts on the roof there. We've got the light there, look, with the screws in it. We've got all of the information there, which is readable. We've got all the British Rail information about the HST Powercars. We've got a fire extinguisher there with, writing and stuff on it. It's just brilliant, and it's great to have, stuff like this included. Obviously we have, reverser, which is operatable. Got the AWS, got the horn. You can also unpause that. Got the air conditioner switch where you can, put the air conditioning on. Got thermostat. We can simulate and sort of, have a little play. Desk lights. Yay! We've got instrument lights, that's brilliant. De-icer switch, I'm guessing that's for the windscreen. Trainz supplied it. Light switch. Engine room light. Does that turn the engine room light on? I wouldn't know because I don't think you can actually go in the engine room on this, unfortunately. But it's there anyway to sort of give that, you know, immersion. Cab lights. They work. Wow, that's actually really nice. I like that glow. That's wicked. Also, we have folding chairs that fold down. We have the armrests. And yeah, it's generally really nice in here. It really is. Very nicely done indeed. You can't open the doors, sadly, but there you go. Window wipers work as well. As you can see there. And they change speeds depending on how much you open the valve. There we go. Fire alarm test. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. That's a shame. So, although some of these buttons are operational, not all of them work or do anything. They're just there for immersion, you know? Okay, so we've had a look at the Intercity 125. So let's have a look at the other livery you get in the HST pack, which is this. Now, this is the beautiful Midland Pullman, which I'm sure most of you are aware of now, that this was East Midlands Railways HST, which was painted into this livery for rail tours by LSL. And yeah, and here she is, and I've got to say, it really does look absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? It's lovely. I love this livery. It's just something about it. It brings back something, you know, from the past, because you had that, you know, the Midland Pullman from the past, which was a class 251, I think. I can't remember the top of my head, but we used to have the Pullman units, and yeah, they were quite well known back in the day, but obviously we hadn't had one since, so they've sort of brought back that, as it were, with this. And yeah, it is a lovely looking livery. I really do like it. It's sort of a I'd like to say chromatic blue, but it's not. It's sort of a plain sort of blue with white window surrounds. It's an interesting, unusual livery. But this is basically exactly the same as the Intercity 125 HST model. The only difference is the light clusters are different. So this has the LED Moderna style lights with the panelling instead of the old original light clusters. And yeah, it's only very slight differences, but the sounds are exactly the same, and the overall look of the model is completely identical as well. I've just realised we have some like ropes and stuff as well, which just again just adds to extra detail. And this is actually better lighting to show off the Bogie detail there, look. Which again, just as I say, just does look lovely, doesn't it? And these models really do look good in Trainz, you know, these newer models. They've really been done well. We have sort of this Pullman. This is fantastic. Look how crisp that is. That's brilliant on the door there. Love it. Well, look, we even have them on the doors here as well. Well, yes, look at that. Spectacular. And we have all of the details about the coach there. And these have the later style warning stickers. So we've got a sort of a hint of weathering on the top of the roof there, which again just adds to the realism of this. Okay, so now that we've had a look around the actual models, or actually I need to have a look at the interior of the Pullman ones. Ah, yes, look at this. So this is the sort of later style moquettes. You've got the Pullman headrests there. As you can see, it's certainly a lot more of a modern interior compared to the other sort of interiors we saw on the Intercity 125. If we go over to the Intercity 125, we could just compare that now. As you can see, this is a lot more retro and less modern compared to the likes of the Midland Pullman over here. Also loving the floor in here, and I like the metal sort of bands that go through the floor there. That's fantastic and well done. Let's go and have a look over here quickly, just before we move on. Wow, yes. See, we've got the luggage rack here as well, well modelled. Yeah, and unfortunately this is where it runs out here. So, yeah, it is a very nice looking thing. It really is. Like I say, we've got the weathering on the windows again, which just sort of adds to the detail of it. Very nicely done. Now, do we have the bar car on this one? Come on, surely we've got to. We've got to have the bar car on this one. Nope, they still haven't modelled the bar car. It's just going to be the same as the other one. That's a shame, isn't it? That is a shame. Oh, well, you can't have everything, can you? Okay, so now that we've had a look at the models themselves, we're going to take a look at the sounds. So, let's get to it, shall we? So first of all, we want to make sure our road is set. So, you can see we've got a red signal here, so we're going to change our point there. Change our point there. And we've got a green. Fantastic. Alright, so we're ready to go with this, really. So, first of all, we're going to have a listen to the horn. So, there is no B key horn on this, it's just a H key. So this is the H key horn. So it's a very enthusiastic horn. It's also slightly playable, so you can do like a little one-tone toot if you just tap the H key, like so. And obviously, you know, depending on how long you hold it down, you can sort of, give a little, you can play about with it. It's not a bad horn, not too bad. Although the only thing that I will say about it is you can hear that it is recorded at speed, because you can hear the sound of the rails, sort of that loud noise when it's going along the track of welded rail going. You can sort of hear that in the background of the horn, which is a shame. But to be honest, it isn't that bad of a recording, and I quite like it. It's very enthusiastic. It's cool. Would have been nice to have a horn on the B key as well, but hey ho, doesn't matter really. But yeah, so let's depart the station now and have a listen to the actual sounds themselves and have a look at how it drives. Oh dear, I can hear a loop there, sort of looping. We'll have a little bit more of a listen to the sounds as we leave and get out of King's Cross. Although there is a red signal up ahead. Red signal is bugging me slightly. Okay, there's a track not set up here properly somewhere. Okay, I don't know what that's for, but there we go. Oh, I hate that notch. It's horrible. You can hear the... It's just like a 1 or 2 second clip of it just going... It's horrible. That one's not as bad, but... I'm going to proceed with caution along here because I'm a little bit worried about that red signal. What that was, I don't know what that was for. There's got to be something over here. That would be it. Okay, so we can go now. Okay, that's not too bad. I like that rev up there, that sounded wicked. Right, okay, let's... You know what? The upper notches on here aren't too bad. Just showing about all these tunnels though, can't really... Just ignore some of the glitches on this route. Remember, it is an old one, so... Okay, let's go through the notches now, shall we? Spool down didn't sound too bad. So, notch 1. I really dislike that notch. You can hear the looping. It's terrible. Notch 2. So that's not as bad, but you can still sort of hear that loop. So you can hear that zoom, zoom, zoom. As you get to notch 5 though, or notch 4 in this case, this is where it starts getting good, and it sounds really good. Let's get a flyby shot, shall we? Oh, we had a cut out there. One thing I will say though is that I think that the engine sounds of this HST isn't recorded from Paxman Valenta. And I guess I can kind of understand why that is, because there is no Paxman Valenta engines you can actually record now, because there's none operational. I mean, you did have the 41 prototype HST, but that's now out of service. So I can understand why it wouldn't be a Paxman Valenta. By the sounds of it, it is either a VP185 engine or an MTU engine, which is technically not accurate for this Intercity 125 unit here, because this is based on the 1980s version, so this would be a Valenta engine, and this sound recording isn't a Valenta. It will be pretty much spot on for the Midland Pullman that comes with the pack, but for this, no, it doesn't suit it. Okay, so I think we've seen enough of this this unit now, and it's time for my thoughts on it. So what do I think of the Trainz 22 Class 43 high-speed train DLC? So, I think it's average, okay? Reason being is I think that the sounds could be better, especially on the lower notches. They're not fabulous, but the upper notches are actually pretty good. But I think, again, you know, one of the main things that really does need looking at in Trainz is the sounds, and that's why I tend to do a lot of sound sets myself, and you know, releasing those on a DLS, because I can, you know, just edit them and make them sound how they should. But there's a lot of stuff in Trainz sound wise that is not fantastic, and even though this sound set is pretty nice, it's good on the upper notches, and it does have very nice notching up sounds, I must admit. It does sound pretty hellfire when you go up to notch 5 and you get that turbo scream. Very nicely done indeed. But the lower notches just kind of let it down. So if you're driving this thing and going straight up to notch 5, that's brilliant. You know, you're well away and it sounds good. If you're trying to do a shunt move or drive this thing slowly, it doesn't sound great. Modelling wise, it's a lovely looking model. As I say, I can't really fault the model. I think it looks spectacular. The only thing I will say is, as I say, it looks a bit fat round here, and the gap underneath the underframe here is a little bit too wide in my opinion. But apart from that, it is pretty much almost TSW and TS Classic standards. Very nicely done indeed. So well done, guys. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm just going to quickly take a screenshot of this for the thumbnail of the video. So what we'll do is we'll get a nice one down here somewhere. Yeah, let's have a look. See, there we go. That looks pretty good. We'll take that, and there we go. That's our thumbnail for the video. So I hope you guys have been watching. Well, I hope you guys have been watching this video. Well, I do hope you guys have been watching this video. I hope you've got to the end here. So yeah, anyone who has been watching this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my review on the Trainz HST. It's available on the Trainz store now. It's free for gold membership versions. It's free for gold membership users. Obviously, I pay like £12 a month for like a gold membership subscription. So if you've got that, then you get this for free. If not, I believe it's around $11.99 or something like that to buy on the Trainz store. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now. This has been Samuel Beeman of British Locomotive Studios. See you soon.